And welcome back to DG360. Thanks for taking the time, for clicking and being like, hey, this looks like an interesting video. It will be if you're interested in the financials at Cloud Imperium. There were a lot of people yesterday that watched a video we done. If you've not seen that, go check out that card right now. We talk about everything you're seeing here. The actual real world financials of Cloud Imperium posted by Cloud Imperium. They were very transparent. They said, here's our numbers. We're putting it on the site. They've done this in the past before. I'm super happy that they are doing that, but there were some areas of concern. And that was particularly yesterday when I looked at the $9 million spent on publishing and marketing. We know this is Sandy's department. I kind of have an issue with $9 million being spent. I will go over that next week. Go to our community tab on our channel, check that out. But that is not what this video is about today. Today, I want to go over the comments, your points of view, your perspective, which was really interesting. When I hear the comments from my fans, sometimes I can change my stance on something based upon some of these logical comments that I'm seeing from you guys. And it's really cool to see that, to have this interaction with my community as such. And it really, I think, evolves the outlook and perspective of what's happening with Star Citizen and the development of Star Citizen when we have these talks together. I think it's very grown up. I love the discussions, and I want to go over some of these comments with you right now. There's a couple narratives out there that are really concerning to me, but without further ado, let's go over the comments now. All right, I had to switch sides here so you could actually see your comments, and this is part of the show that I really love. Like when I feature you guys, I think it's important that I put my family out there. So, you know, sometimes I don't agree with everything you guys say. Sometimes you don't agree with what I say, but we always keep it civil, and that's the important part. And Speakeasy, my friend here, says something that I think is really interesting. He says, I don't understand why anyone expects a company to make a profit before their product ships. Now, this is interesting because I've seen this narrative a few times and it concerns me. Let's continue. It's the finished product that is to bring in the profit, not the development of it. Basically, all other games get a loan to develop from a publisher. No one makes a profit till the games are sold. In this case, backers are acting like publisher and the consumer, but we still have Squadron 42 sales that will come in the future and all other people who are waiting to buy SC when it is finished. Now, let me just attack this in a nice way here. And when he says, Speakeasy is saying, hey, you cannot say that it is a problem that this company, Cloud Imperium, is posting losses because they haven't released their product yet. Now, let me just kind of tell people how it really works in the real world when it comes to the financials. And no offense, Speakeasy, this is my point of view. This is my opinion. But as a trader, as someone who looks at companies and analyzes them quite often, or did, I would say this: a company needs to post a profit to have the rep needed to continue to function as a company. This is how things work on the stock market with companies that are traded. We know they are not listed on the stock market. I understand that. They are not a public company. I understand that. As a private company, they don't have to worry about these pressures, and that's great. But they're still a company, and a company, no matter the size, needs to start posting profit so they continue to be a company. And as to the product are the ships. We saw the numbers. We saw in 2019, we were able to look at the revenues, the backer money from those pledges, literally 47 million, record breaking. We went over that on the last video. That $47 million is the product. I mean, people would argue that, oh, these are just pledges. That's just wording. That's just vocabulary. Look at the numbers. The numbers will tell you the truth. Those numbers, that's the revenue. That's what's coming in. That's the potential profit. Those are the products being sold. The main product all the way up till Squadron 42 has been the ship sales. The ships are the products, period. Now, Squadron 42 is an unknown. We know that they're kind of, at this point, they're just bringing it out on PC. They're going to limit the sales for Squadron 42. You've got a lot of people already who have put their pledge in, who have Squadron 42. The hardcore fans have bought Squadron 42 already. So you need outsider money to come in and, perhaps some of the $9 million I was worried about was advertising Squadron 42, although I haven't seen it. Again, that is a topic we will get into in next week's video. But I will say, Squadron 42 is an unknown variable. We don't know how much money it's going to bring in. Yes, it is an additional product, but it is not the only product. And I would argue that since Squadron 42 has been bought by many of us already, and that it is limited to just PCs on its release, that it's not going to be this gangbusters, home run of a number. I do think solid numbers. I do think they'll post quite a big number as far as sales. And I'm very curious to see how Squadron 42 is going to sell once it is released. So good comment, Speakeasy. That's my peace of mind on that particular concerning narrative that I saw repeated by many people. And I don't know who started that narrative that there's no products being sold, that there's no product yet, but there's certainly product in my mind being sold. And as a company, they do need to start posting profits. This is the real world. We need to see companies start posting profits. Well, hey mom, how you doing? Oh, wherever you can get it. Just a yellow cake with white icing would be great. Yeah, the standard. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at this point. It really doesn't matter anymore. No, it's I can do your baked chicken. Your baked chicken with some mashed potatoes would be good. That sounds good to me. Okay. All right, cool. All right, mom. I'll be here. Oh, okay. All right, and then we have a comment here from my friend Jiro, aka Django. And he says, the issue I have is they're supposed to spend all the pledge money on development and business development. Most companies do. I mean, that is the business plan for most companies. Like, hey, we're taking all of our money and we're going to shove it over into development and business development. And what does that mean? That just means whatever the focus of that company is, whatever they're making, and the people that work for that business, and in salaries. And this is just common business practice. So then he goes on to say they are stating to get close to having all of these pillars are being worked on and are going to be done in the next 2 years. That's relative. We don't know if they're going to be done in 2 years. We don't know if they'll be done sooner, which would be a surprise on the upside. I would love that. We don't know if they're going to be more than 2 years. We really don't know. There have been delays to this in the past. I expect future delays. We're not quite sure if the pressure's on right now to get Squadron 42 out. I think the fire's under them. I think that they will get close to the goals they state on the roadmaps that we're seeing. But this part concerns me. Then Django, aka Jiro, my friend, says, till then, they shouldn't have a profit. I have to disagree with that completely. This is a real life company that needs to actually show healthy financials, regardless of whatever they say on the roadmap, regardless of whatever that narrative is that's being crammed down people's throats, that they're not supposed to show a profit. I've seen a lot of comments like that, like they shouldn't show a profit. It's not like they're a business, DG. Not, the thing is yes, they're a tech sector company. Yes, a lot of tech sector companies don't have profit for some time. Is it concerning to me that they have the losses that they have consecutively? Hell yes, it is concerning to me. That's why I focus on the financials. Should they post a profit? It would be nice. They are a company. Again, they're private, and a lot of people would get angry for me to talk about this in a manner because they're like, hey, dude, leave them alone. They're private. I'm not leaving them alone because it's my job to not leave them alone. And it's also something I'm very passionate about. I want to make sure that they're staying afloat financially so that they can get this project out to us. but that one narrative right there, I've seen in the comments quite often, and that is, till then they shouldn't have a profit. There's a lot of people that said that in the comments, like, hey, they don't need to post a profit. They said they weren't going to post a profit. And the thing is like, that's not how it works. At least in my opinion, that's not healthy. Like to think like that, that's not a healthy way to think. But then Django, aka my friend Jiro, says, though I agree, I would like to see the deficit be closer to zero as well. Yeah, I gotta get it through people's heads. And again, this is my opinion, but the products are the pledges, are the ships. Those are actual sales. That's what they're recording as revenue, people. This is a valid product. There are products out there now. People are buying them. These are the products. And that's why it's going to be interesting to see going forward when they take that off the table. After the game's released, I don't think the revenues need to be pouring in exactly the same way that they always have been. I think they're going to cut down on their staff because those revenues are going to kind of poof as far as the ships. I think that Squadron 42, if it's successful, will be these big injections of cash, which will be nice. But it's interesting to me to see what's going to happen after the game's released in terms of the fact that ship sales are one of their biggest revenue, their money maker. You know, the bread and butter are ship sales, designing the ships, getting people interested in the process, putting it out there. These are products, people. They're making them look sexy. There's commercials on their site. These are products, people. Whether you can try and translate it any other way for me and make me try and believe that it's not a product, but I will never fall into that line of thinking. These are products. They are being sold to people. You can tell me it's a pledge, but they're advertising ships as if they're advertising a car with Matthew McConaughey driving a Lincoln. This is a product, people. Wake up. Again, here we see from Kaya, why do you expect them to make a profit? It doesn't make any sense at all. They don't have a product yet. Yes, they do, Kaya. Yes, they do. All right, and here's a really interesting comment from Leonard Jiro. He says, would you argue that the revenue cost ratio is actually acceptable from the point of view that SIG operates much more like a tech startup that is in a stage of pure growth and expansion? They're essentially having to create new tech and innovate as they go to accomplish things previously never done before at a scale never done before. This was a really, really awesome comment, Leonard. I absolutely would agree with you that as an analyst looking at this as a possible investment or putting it in their portfolio, they would look at the fact of what is the potential of the company? What are they going to produce that's going to bring in an amazing amount of cash for this company and for its investors? And of course, it is a private company. I get it. But there are people that are privately invested through Cloud Imperium, like the Cowder money, which we will go over next week, that 46 million that came in, and the Cowders believed in them. And that has to do with the narrative of Cloud Imperium successfully achieving these goals. And as long as people are feeling positive and believe in it, what you'll find is that they'll be okay with these losses. And you see that a lot in a lot of stocks in the NASDAQ that focus on the tech sector. You see that in tons of startup tech companies because people are fresh off the gates of an IPO. That's an initial public offering. That's when a stock first goes public on the stock exchange. And you see a lot of startups in the tech business have these IPOs. People jump on board. They're like, woo, they got this great technology that's going to come out in 4 years, 5 years, 6, 7, 8 years. And as long as they come out with this wonderful tech, everything's going to be fine. It's happened before. You look at Corning with their Gorilla Glass, and now it's on every single phone that you see from Samsung to, and Corning is an old company, and they decided, hey, we're going to jump into the tech sector. This was an old company that decided they were going to like start something new, and they did this Gorilla Glass, and people were saying you can't do this, you can't create this glass. And they did it, and it was a huge boon for the company, and that's an issue of an old company kind of trying to reinvent itself and get itself into the tech sector. But you see other companies as well, and you see companies like AMD and Nvidia and Intel always fighting for the space. It's a very, very competitive market, and when somebody comes out with a competitive advantage over the other, one stock will go down and the other stock will go up. You know, in fact, AMD used to be like a $2 or $4 stock. Everybody was writing them off for dying, and then they come out with a new series of GPU. It goes gangbusters. It starts selling more. Intel and Nvidia have some concerning issues with some security gaps, and they start going down. AMD starts going up. And if you were invested in AMD at $2 and it goes up past 10, you're having a great life right now. So these are the things like with tech companies is you know, the technologies that they're going to produce will benefit them, and the reason why you see the investor money there or the people okay with those losses is because they know in the future they're going to come out with something that's going to give them a huge boon of cash, an influx of the cash, and that's why they have like a steady base of investing. That's why you saw in 2019 such a huge influx of pledge money and people just putting money into it to buy ships, is because they're starting to see the finished product. They're starting to see that this is coming together. They're starting to believe more, and that's why that revenue spiked up, and that's why that argument that, you know, there are no products yet is flawed. It's because there are products, people are buying them now, and they're believing in the story of Star Citizen, and that's why you're seeing those revenues go up. So very good perspective, very good point of view, very good question, Leonard. I really enjoyed that. And guys, I really enjoyed all your comments. I enjoy your comments on every video, and I always am taking the time to read it. Thanks for taking the time. Look, we got new merch, everyone. There's our hashtag technical difficulty shirt with our DG logo on there. It's looking pretty fly. Go check out our merch store. Links down below in the description. Thanks everybody. We're having a giveaway on our Patreon page. If you're a YouTube member and you push join or you become a patron, you have the chance to win this month a Gladius or a Mustang Alpha. So go over there, check that out. And I appreciate everybody that supports this channel, and I appreciate you. We're getting back into the swing of things. By next week, we're going to get that regular content again. Thanks for watching here. Thanks for the comments. Love you, fam. And I will see you on the next vid or stream, probably Tuesday. Today's video has been brought to you by the generous patrons of DG360 who make continued content possible. DG360 patrons enjoy monthly giveaways like Star Citizen packages, Steam gift cards, and any game that you want giveaways. Please consider donating $1 if in any way you enjoy DG360 content. And these difficult times where independent content creation is under attack from the FTC and left to die by YouTube, it's nice to know that I'm appreciated.